Why should you pay to have somebody manage your money? And most of this is corporate. Is you see commercials on TV for Fisher Investments. That's what they do. If you have an account at Fidelity, if you have a 401k at Fidelity, Fidelity's constantly saying, hey, let's roll this to an IRA and we'll manage it for you. There's nothing wrong with either of those options. You just need to know why you would want to do it and then advantages, disadvantages. So basically how it works is whether it's a firm like us, a boutique firm like us, I hate that term boutique, but it's the best term I can come up with today, or a big corporate firm like a Fidelity or a Fisher, is the assets will transfer into them and they will begin managing it based on parameters that you set out. You may have a survey to fill out, conversations, things of that nature. A plan will be presented in terms of how to invest it, and they'll go off and invest it for you. You kind of go off on your life. And why would you do that? Well, given that we are here today in early 2026, and we still haven't had a recession, a real recession since 2008, 2009, at some point, the market's going to go down. It's going to go down a lot, and it's going to stay down for a little while. And our instincts are to do the opposite of what we should do. Our instincts are bad when it comes to investments. They're great for getting away from the mountain lion in the wild. They stink for investing. So having managed money means somebody who's not emotionally invested or emotionally attached to your money. You're very emotionally attached to your money. I'm very emotionally attached to my money. I'm as cheap as they come. And having that separation is important. Second is they will make the changes based on what's going on in the market for you. Is you don't have to think about any of that. That's a big deal. Is you can go off and do and live your life and make sure of that. And plus they're a sounding board. Is they will allow you to call up and say, hey, I'm thinking about, or I'm wondering about this. And they're a good sounding board for that, whether it's us or someone else. So that's important. But there are distinctions, and I want to just touch on those really quickly between a corporate and a boutique firm. A corporate firm is really good because they do this so much that the process is very refined, and that's good and bad. It's sanitized. I'll say it. That's the best way to say it. Is you're dealing with a representative who may leave tomorrow, not taking your account. If he or she is not available, they'll just reassign you to another person. There is a aura of sincerity which is manufactured in a lot of cases, and you see this everywhere. This is not just these types of firms. This is across the board, across industries. Is CRMs, client management tools are amazing. So anybody can bring up your record in their computer when they're talking to you on the phone, and they go, oh, Mr. Jones, I see you lost your dog Toby last year and we want to do this and that. And you're thinking, wow, they really care about me. No, they're reading a CRM. Somebody entered that data. They may or may not care about your passed away dog Toby, but that data is in there. It is faking sincerity that may not be there. So a lot of the work being done is going to fall back on you. I'll give you a good example or a good comparison is I have worked with doctors groups that I had to advocate for myself, like terribly advocate for myself. And I'm not great at that. I'll be honest. I'm just not great. What should I bother? And they're leaving it up to me. They're waiting for me to make the decisions, and they're kind of like the order takers at McDonald's. The doctor I have now is frightfully proactive. And that's really the difference between corporate management and personal management in a boutique firm is while you'll have a quarterly meeting with your corporate management company and they will throw out all these statistics you don't understand. And you'll nod your head like, yeah, okay, sure, yeah, I understand that. You don't understand any of it. I barely understand it, and I do this for a living. They're throwing out numbers just to make sure you think that they're doing the work that they're doing. They're doing it, but they need to look like it's justifying it. But in terms of estate planning, taxes, other issues that are coming up in your life, if you're not asking questions, they're not being prompted by it. And somebody, when you deal with a very personal relationship with a boutique firm, it's very different. Now, there is downsides to a boutique firm. So if the principal of that firm retires or gets run over by a bus, there's a definite issue there. But personally, I think you get better service because of it. So that's kind of where you're going with managed money. It can be good because it's going to save yourself from making bad decisions of buying when you should be selling and selling when you should be buying. But it comes with, just like everything else, comes a little work to make sure you're doing the right thing. So if you have questions, jump down the doobly-doo, reach out to us, see if we can help. Other than that, stay safe out there.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. Remember, the views expressed are not necessarily those of Successful Money Strategies. All content is for educational purposes only and should not be construed as an endorsement of any third party or their views, or as a solicitation or offer to sell securities or provide investment, tax, legal, or consulting services. We believe the information presented to be reliable, but it is not guaranteed for accuracy or completeness. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Hypothetical returns do not reflect actual trading and may not be indicative of the performance of any specific investment. Always consult with a qualified financial advisor before making any investment decisions. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. Additional information, including management fees and expenses, is provided on our Form ADV Part 2, available upon request, or at the SEC's Investment Advisor Public Disclosure website, https://advisorinfo.sec.gov.